Welcome to the Workbench After Hours podcast. My name is Keith, and I'm your host. This is where we talk about the firearms community, shop talk, and everyday life experiences. Welcome to episode 66 of the Workbench After Hours podcast. Chris is with me today, and we're going to be talking about some new gun bans that are being introduced in both Washington State and then also what's going on in Connecticut. Yeah, they're introducing some stuff over there, and then some stuff with the credit card companies that's been in the news as well. So if you're familiar with our podcast that we did on the House Bill 1808, the state Washington one is pretty similar to that with some other stuff as well. So we'll get into that. But before we do, Chris, what we got?
We are drinking Jefferson small batch bourbon. So we're going back in history a little bit here.
I've been wanting to try this because I have Jefferson's Ocean.
Yep.
And you gave me a lot of crap for that. But
yeah, I know. And then I turned around and bought this. But
yeah, but I tried. Well, and it's different how they age it and stuff like that. The Ocean's one that goes on a different voyage, and the taste varies based on voyage. The one I tried when I was in Florida, it was really good. So I have no complaints. We'll eventually open that bottle, but this is just a regular small batch.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because I've been eyeing this, and he also has a single barrel that I've been eyeing, and I saw this, and I was like, fuck it, let's just get it and try it.
Might as well.
So this is their small batch. It comes with this nice little book or note.
I like it when they tell you about the whiskey you're purchasing.
It says it's a small batch of bourbon. It's been aged in barrels with very light char, allowing it to marade of secondary flavors expressing themselves. This result is approachable, smooth bourbon. It's layered but easy to drink finish and allows flavors to come to the forefront. Jefferson is smooth and light with hints of complexity that will keep it interesting. So, and also it talks about try all their other brands, which some of them got weird names, like the Pritchard Hill Cabernet Cask Finish, Chef's Collaboration, and Jefferson's Barrel Finish Manhattan. I haven't seen any of those. I wonder if they're more like the allocated stuff.
This one should not be very hot. 41.5%, 82.3 proof.
I do like the motto, though. It says, never put off till tomorrow what can be done today.
There you go.
And it's kind of a unique little bottle, too. It's got Jefferson on the back, so it like blends through the bottle. So let's see what our government back then.
I'm getting a lot of brown sugar notes for sure. Brown sugar, caramel, maybe some vanilla thrown in there.
Yeah.
Right? Kind of sweet smelling.
It's got a real sweet smell to it.
Mm-hmm. So according to Jefferson's on the nose, you should be getting brown sugar, which I get with a hint of citrus.
I wonder if that's the sweetness we're smelling.
I don't know if I'm getting the citrus or not. Definitely the brown sugar for sure. Like that is the most, like you smell that. That's
predominant.
Yes. All right. So give it a taste and let us know what you. That's pretty smooth. Little bit of spiciness on the back end.
It's not like usually most of the whiskeys and bourbon we get a lot of that heat on the back end. There's no heat.
I wasn't expecting a lot with how low proof it is.
Yeah, it's good though. Wow.
So flavor, vanilla, peaches, and toffee is what you're supposed to be getting.
You get a little bit of the peach. It's like a fine hint of it. And usually, man.
I can't tell you the last time I had a peach.
Kat likes it, so I've been buying her like peach Moscatos and wines. And
all right.
I got a couple whiskeys that are peach, but
it brings out the vanilla and toffee for me.
Yeah.
Still getting brown sugar notes on the taste too.
I get a little bit of peach if you just let it sit on the tongue. But yeah, you definitely get the vanilla in there.
Yep.
That's the most predominant.
Delicate and warm honey finish.
Yeah. I'm not mad at that. I was real leery because I kept.
What did
hearing
this bottle run?
I think I got it for $32.
Okay.
So
Yeah, it's their lowest price bottle that
Yeah.
we've seen around
Yeah.
here. And then you jump up into,
the single barrel, which is like 40 or $50, I think, depending if it's on sale.
and then the ocean ones are,
80 or 90.
yes, which
And that's-
sucks.
Yeah. SLB has some opinions on those.
Yeah, which is, you and Jacob were giving me crap after you
Yeah.
saw that because you knew I had a bottle. And I'm like, oh man, did I waste money? But the one I tried, which I think is pretty similar to the Voyage that I have in Florida, it was good. It was not anywhere near as sweet as this,
Yeah.
but I'm not mad.
Yeah. I just
We'll
laughed
eventually
because
open
you bought it. And then like 2 or 3 weeks later, I saw that video. And he's like, I'm the dumbass that made this mistake twice and bought it twice. And I was like, oh, no.
Yep. Yeah, it's I mean, you get a little bit of spice and burn, just a hint of the burn in your
Yeah.
chest. Nothing like what we've had recently in the past,
Yeah.
especially that Henry or Uncle Nearest.
Uncle Nearest, yeah. That
man.
had some heat.
But it is a much higher proof than this.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what you should expect. So yeah, it is pretty good.
That's a good sipping whiskey all day.
I like the bottle, and then it's got like Jefferson in the background, kind
it's
of
hard
etched
to
in
see.
there.
Well, maybe you can see a little bit right there. It's
Yeah.
kind of hard.
But yeah,
Yeah, you can kind of see them. It's kind of, there you go.
yep. Pretty cool bottle.
Yeah, it's definitely neat. And for $30, I'm not gonna complain. That's pretty good, I think.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk about some whiskey adventures I had today while you get some ice.
Yeah.
So I had some time. I was out doing an inspection for work, and I had to go way up north. So luckily, we live in a pretty metro area. So there's a lot of different cities that are close by that I can drive to and basically whiskey hunt at these places. So I was both in Missouri and Kansas today, and I did pretty good. I found 3 bottles of Buffalo Trace at normal price. Jacob's kind of mad at me because I went to his local liquor store that he always frequents and asked for Buffalo Trace, and they never have it. He recently got a bottle, but I went in there today, just randomly walked in, 2 bottles of Buffalo Trace on the shelf. I'm like, sold. So I bought them both. And then, man, I got my hopes up. Right under that, they had a tag that said Wellers, and it had 3 different Wellers, and they were MSRP, which was like 30 and under. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't see them on the shelf. And so I went and asked them if they still had those, and they did not.
Dang it.
I'm like, man, we're getting so close to finding that stuff. And then so I went to another place that has their allocation stuff. They have a room with like antiques, and they hide their allocations in there, and you kind of have to search for them.
Treasure hunt. It's
Yep.
fun.
It was open from 4 to 8 today. And so usually want to get there on Wednesday because they don't refill it throughout the week. So went there, stood in line, and there's probably about 5 people in front of me. So everybody walks through this, past this case. The guy in front of me kind of walks past it, but then stops and kind of goes back and looks down. And man, sitting there was a box of Blanton. Usually it's just in the bottle. Nope, this was the box and everything. I think that's why several people walked past it, because they didn't see it was in the box in this case. So, man, I was like, oh my God, there was one. So there's got to be more. Nope.
Dang
Didn't have any more. So I bought another bottle of Buffalo Trace, and I bought another bottle of Sazerac Rye. So that way we can open one and try that. And then I went to another place and got McKenna 100 proof.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the lady said it's pretty hard to find, kind of like Blanton's, and supposed to be up there with Blanton's. So for the price, I'm hoping so, or if it's not better than Blanton's. So it's McKenna 10-year bottled in bond, so 100 proof. So we'll eventually open that up and see what it's like, because I haven't seen that bottle anywhere.
I haven't either.
That's why she mentioned it. I'm like, well, I've never seen it, so maybe I'll take it.
It's bad. We're calling each other all the time when we go into liquor stores. This is what they had here.
Yep. But hey, that's good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm getting so close. Oh, and I went to another place in the Missouri side, and it's like a grocery store, but they have a big liquor section, and they have a bourbon tasting area. And I went over there, and they had 3 different bottles of Wellers. They had the green, the black, and then the orange. And they had some Blanton's up there. And I asked him, like, well, do you guys sell these bottles? And he's like, well, we're running a special today. You can buy a bottle of Blanton's at $65, which is MSRP. I'm like, all right, cool. But in order to do so, you have to buy 4 bottles of our private barrels. And they're $80 each.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
I'm like, no. Like
$300 in liquor right there.
I'm like, so I got to buy 5 bottles of booze from you guys, 4 at $80 a pop, and then 65 for the one I want. No, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not worth it to me. So,
yeah, I was talking to my local one. I went in there yesterday by my grocery store, and I was like, so have you gotten Blanton's in? He's like, nope. He's like, hopefully we get some here shortly, but I'm thinking about doing the raffle. I'm like,
man.
oh my God, please don't.
I would rather first come, first serve over this raffle and point system thing because the one right down the street from here just recently started the point system, and you get $1 for every
dollar you spend. You get a point
for every dollar you spend. But it's like there's people going in there spending $100 at a time. They're the ones that are going to get the option to buy that, where us who've been hunting for this stuff forever, because we don't spend enough there, aren't going to get the chance.
Yeah.
And it sucked because I went in there yesterday, 3 bottles of Rare Eagle, and they had Blanton's and something else.
Jack Daniel's double barrel.
Yes. And I'm like, it's right in front of me and I can't get it.
It's so stupid. Like, it drives me nuts. And he was sitting there. I was talking to him. I was like, man, I really hope you don't do that. I like your first come, first serve. I mean, that's the reason why I come here. And he's like, yeah. He's like, it'd be kind of hard. I know I have one customer. He comes in every day and drops like $600-700.
Good for
him.
him.
I was like, God dang. I was like, I wish I had that type of money. But he's like, yeah, he'd probably be the one that always gets the points, and he'd probably be the only one that ever gets anything.
This is at the one in Spring Hill?
Yeah. And I was like, fuck.
Yeah, fight against that.
Yeah, I've been fighting him. I was like,
it's
please
like,
don't.
okay, hold a bottle for that guy. Like, I have no problem with that because he's dropping that money. But the point system is completely unfair unless you have money to blow on a bunch of other stuff to get the potential to buy at MSRP of an allocated bottle. It's just...
He's also like... I was asking him, like, hey, can you get Frank Sinatra Select? How about Russell's Reserve or their single barrel? Because they had the Reserve there, the 10-year, which,
I almost prefer the 10-year over the single barrel.
I was just seeing how we can maybe get certain things. And he's like, it'll be first come, first serve, but I'm going to put it on my list. I was like, also put this on your list and all that. I was like, I'm sure you got Blanton's on there. He's like, yeah, by the time we get that, people are waiting in line on when. And I was like, man.
Guess where I'm going Friday morning.
Yeah, I know. I thought about, I'm going to be in a little late.
I need to find what time they open.
Yeah.
Because that's when Chris said they get their deliveries. So last time I went in there, they had Weller's Green Label, which everybody's been having that. I don't want that. And Buffalo Trace. So I bought a bottle of Buffalo Trace.
He had a liter of the Green Weller still behind there. He also had Buffalo Trace Cream, and I called you about that. And I was like, I don't know.
Never heard of it.
Neither have I. And I was like, I don't know if I would want to try a cream whiskey.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, but.
So have you tried this on ice yet?
Not yet.
It's definitely giving a lot more of the brown sugar and kind of vanilla notes, like really bringing that out. It's definitely gotten sweeter.
Yeah, a little bit.
Still good. It's good.
I think I'd prefer this probably more on the neat than on ice.
Yeah, not as sweet.
Yeah,
but this would be another one for an entry level beginner. Very low proof, easy to drink, a little on the sweeter side.
Yep.
Not a lot of that burn or anything. Not too spicy. So
yeah, I'm happy with it.
Yep. You need to ask that guy also about the Jack Daniel's single malt,
the
10 and 12 year.
I asked him about that. I also asked Party Time Liquor today about it. Like, oh, we only get bonded, and I was like, they also had triple mash there.
I found some of those today at a couple different places, $40.
Yeah.
I thought about it. I couldn't justify it. I have one here.
Yeah, so do I.
And I'm like, we've had it on the podcast, and we know it's good.
Yep.
But for $40, I could put that towards stuff we haven't tried yet.
Yep.
So I didn't pull the trigger. I did find Knob Creek Single Barrel.
Yeah.
Which I know you're not a big Knob Creek fan.
Yeah. I think it's just what I've been reading is like people have their certain profiles. And if you're like Jack, you won't like Knob Creek. And I wonder if that, I find it to be a little bit true, but.
We tried the 9-year a long time ago.
Yeah.
And you weren't the biggest fan, but it was higher proof for us at the time.
Yeah.
That's why I want to try this now that we're a little more
Seasoned.
And then I also, what else was I looking at? So I got that. I was looking at a couple other single barrels that I haven't seen before, but I ended up just getting that and then the McKenna.
Yeah, that, and I kept finding that Mitcher's rye, which you've got the bourbon and I got their whiskey, which we still haven't even tried.
Nope.
We got so many whiskeys to try. It's
I know.
getting ridiculous.
It's a little harder to open those more expensive bottles just because it's like, ooh,
Yeah.
like that McKenna. I'm like, this is $75.
Yeah. My old Forester 1910 just sitting on the shelf. I was like, man, I really want to try you because I know it's good, but
It was what, $60
it was
ish?
55, 60. And then they have the 1920, which is like 65, 70.
I had that a long time ago before I even started getting into whiskey.
Yeah.
I was able to drink it on ice, but man, I just remember that being super strong. It was like drinking. It was very alcohol tasting to me back then. I think I'll like it now, but
because the 1910 I think is double oak or double barreled or double oaked. I think I can't remember, but yeah, SLB they say those two are like on their top 5 of all time.
we'll see.
Yeah,
I mean, I take what they say with a grain of salt after Jefferson's Ocean because I liked it. And again, it probably depends on the voyage.
I mean, everything we've watched on there and we've tried, we usually liked.
Yeah, there hasn't been a lot of whiskeys we haven't liked. The Knob Creek smoked maple, huge disappointment. Yeah. Really, really sweet. And a couple other ones that we went over. But for the most part, we've liked most of the whiskeys that we've had. And yeah, it's getting to be very expensive.
Yeah, it is. It's a fun hobby, right?
Yeah. Like my overflow is now in the basement. So
you are my overflow. I just bring it over here.
Right? Hide them from the wife so she doesn't yell at you because she won't let you buy any more bottles, right?
Until I start drinking some more. So I've got about 2 bottles that are about empty now.
Are all those DVDs on the wall hers?
They're like a mixture of ours.
I was going to say, if they are all hers, be like, well.
No, they're a mixture of ours.
It's like your DVD collection.
Yeah.
But hey, as long as, you can find a spot for the bottle, whether it's in the cabinet or on the shelf, as long as there's a spot for it.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah. That's all I care about.
Yep. I have I got 6 bottles of Buffalo Trace downstairs, which I don't buy them to hoard them. Like I drink it because I think one of my favorites is Buffalo Trace.
Yeah.
It's just a good, easy drinking.
It's been a while since I've had it. I need to revisit it.
Maybe we'll bring it back on the podcast and try it because Jacob's going to buy a bottle for me because he's been having trouble. And I'm like, well, I found 2 at your place, so I'll sell you 1.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was my whiskey adventures today. We're getting close.
Yeah. You and me are sitting there. Okay, starting to get the dates and times of things. I still need to check the one by my work.
Well, yeah.
Because I think they get their deliveries tomorrow.
Yeah, it's hard to keep track.
And it's a small little one, so it might be like one of those like hidden gems, I'm hoping.
Would be nice.
Yeah. Because if I find multiple bottles of blends, I got to buy them. Because I know my
Only
boss,
if they're MSRP.
Well, yeah. Well, that my boss has been looking forward to. I can just be like, I got this. You want to buy it? Give me a raise. How about that?
Sell it to you for 120.
Yeah. But
nice.
Yeah, I also have people in other states looking for it for me.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, blend is good. And I want to if we find another bottle, because we both have one we don't want to open.
Mine's already open.
Oh, is it?
It's like halfway, and I'm like, I can't finish this until I have another one. And
I want to find another bottle to actually try on the podcast again. Because like we've said, when we tried it on the podcast a long time ago, like one of our first, it was under 10.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it was like our 2nd or 3rd episode.
Yeah.
We tried it, and
I mean,
we were new in the whiskey.
We had it in Tennessee, but we also had the Sinatra before it.
Yeah, that was not a fair.
Yeah.
Trying the Sinatra Jack first and then the Blanton's.
Yeah.
It was like, all right, Blanton's is
I went back to it later, like at my house, and oh man, I think it's because it also has that Jack Daniel's profile.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I like it so much.
And yeah, I don't know why I like Buffalo Trace so much, but that's why I keep buying it when I see it, because I do drink it. So if you have 3 people drinking a bottle, it goes pretty quick.
Yeah. So we can kill a bottle pretty easy if we like it.
Yes, yes. So, all right. Moving on to the main topic this week. Oh, I was going to do a gun of the week. Want to grab that M&P over there? I'm only doing this because Chris really wants this gun.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
So I've been purchasing some guns to do some stuff with on the podcast or the YouTube channel, and kind of comparing with the dagger because that seems to be a very popular gun. But gun of the week this week is the Smith & Wesson M&P 9 2.0 in flat dark earth.
Jerk.
These are awesome. They've been out for a while, so they're nothing new. I love them.
Yeah.
So when they first came out, I bought the 4 this size in black, and then they also have the 5-inch.
Yep.
I bought that one in flat dark earth because that was the one that I think they submitted for the military.
Yeah, and it also had like the stainless steel slides and everything, and it was a little bit tricked out for the military bid.
But so I bought both because I'm like, well, I don't know which one I want, so I'm going to buy both and try them both out and sell the one I don't like. The problem is I ended up really liking them both. So I kept them and then had to sell them for the wedding. So I got this, bought it used, and it really, there's only a couple areas, but nothing crazy. Yeah. And I remember so I had the 5-inch and the 4-inch version, this one, which is basically the compact, so same size as the Glock 19 and pretty much the dagger. I shot this better than any other pistol that I own. And just because I don't know what it is about it. It just felt good. And
the texture on the grip.
Oh yeah, it's very aggressive.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's the way it's balanced. The sights are, 3-dot versus the U with the Glock. I don't know. When I was doing the accuracy stuff I had, my Glocks and then these two, and I also had my Springfield, which I really love my Springfield. I was shooting this one the best out of all of them. So that's why I'm like, well, shoot, I'm going to pick up that one. It's used. And so, yeah, it's, these things are great.
If you ever have to get rid of it, you're going to try to sell it to me probably.
Yep. Yeah. But yeah, I love the flat dark earth look with the black accents.
Yeah.
Like I said, these have been out for a while, but they are great. Much better than the Gen 1s. The Gen 1s, the texturing was barely there.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you ever think about it, if you're ever in a self-defense situation, your hands are going to be sweaty. You want to get a good grip. Even Glocks aren't as grippy. It's like something like I want something I know is not going to slip out of my hand.
That feels like grip tape to me, or sandpaper.
Yeah.
Is the best way to describe it, I think.
Yep. And it's got nice slide serrations in the back, a little bit on the front, 19 Picatinny rail on the front for a light or whatever. So I really like this. I think it comes with, how many does this hold? Ooh, it comes with a bunch of stuff. It holds like 14 to 15 plus 1. So, and these come with a bunch of different back straps depending on your size of hand. So I didn't realize all those were in there. So awesome. Yeah, these are great guns. Recommend going and trying to shoot one. And I think they're less than Glocks too.
Yeah,
price wise,
or they're right at the same price point. Because I know that was the gun I really wanted over the Glock, and then you bought the Glock 19. Like, oh, I can't find the other one.
Why don't you go ahead and hold that?
Nope, I'm good. Thank you.
Just pick it up and try it. It's gonna sit there. Be careful. It might
jump up and get me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this thing. Oh man.
I liked as much as I like the 5-inch, the full size.
Yeah.
That's more of something you got to just take to the range all the time, and can't really carry. This you can carry and take to the range and use in self-defense. So this is a more versatile option one versus the 5-inch.
Such a good gun.
It is.
God. Over here trying to sell it to me. I see how you are.
I bought it to do some videos on, so.
Yeah.
But
compare it to the Glock 19, I guess.
For being a used gun, it is in great shape.
Yeah, it is.
Surprisingly, especially with the Cerakote. Usually the Cerakotes, you'll see
scratching or...
Yeah, there's a couple light areas, but nothing that's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to shoot that again. Because we are going to do some shooting videos because I want to try the dagger that I bought, just bone stock, versus the Glock 19 Gen 3 bone stock, and then bring in that 19 that you did the upgraded trigger with.
Yeah.
And obviously we'll throw that in there too.
Yeah.
But that way have some shooting footage. So we need to do a big range
Yeah.
day here soon. I also bought, which will be a gun of the week too eventually, the Springfield XDM 5.25 inch barrel, the original one and not the Elite. It's their version of the competition model. I've wanted one of those for like 10 years. And then they came out with these new Elite models, and those are hard to find. Well, I was looking, I look for these all the time on Gunbroker every now and then, and I saw it, and it was like $350. New old stock. So still brand new in the box, never been shot. So I put a bid on it, forgot about it. A couple days go by and I get an email saying, "Congratulations, you won this gun." I'm like, "Wait, what?" And I looked, I'm like, "Oh crap, what did I spend? $355.
You're like, hallelujah.
Okay, that's way cheaper than I would have been able to get it wholesale.
Yeah.
Perfect. So I'll play around with that. I think I'm going to keep it. So we'll see.
Bad influence.
Yep. But all of these guns could potentially be illegal if you're in Washington State with some BS that's going on up there. So if you are in Washington, I'm sure you're aware. Unfortunately, it sounds like, each coast, the West Coast, all of the West Coast, and then the Northeast are so against the Second Amendment and law-abiding citizens owning guns that they come out with the most ridiculous gun bills ever. And the most recent one to come out in Washington is the House Bill 1240. So this is at a state level, so this is not federal. So Washington State, the governor is backing this, and man, it's very similar to the 1808 one that was introduced by Joe Biden. So I'm sure you guys are watching this, but I want to really go into this because we're seeing more and more of this pop up at a federal and now state levels all over the place. And it used to be ban ARs, ban assault weapons, which were at that point AKs, ARs. That was it. Now assault weapons, they're trying to go after everything.
Yeah.
And in this bill, based on what they're banning here, it's going to be 90% of guns. So it's not just your AR-15s, your AK-47s. It's going to be your semi-auto shotguns, your pistols, everything. So you're going to be left with a single shot shotgun or a revolver, as long as it holds less than 10 rounds.
I bet he is turning over in his grave right now.
And that's what surprised me. Like, okay, the West Coast,
Yeah.
whatever. The Northeast, that's where our country was founded.
Yeah.
And they want to pass the most strictest gun control. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Like, all of our founding fathers are probably rolling around in their graves. One, because, hey, we can't have these cool guns. Like, we would have won the war way sooner. And two, like, the fact that they're trying to restrict us from
What we can have.
And they say, oh, it's going to prevent crime. No, it's going to do nothing to prevent crime.
It's probably going to increase, actually. And it's going to hurt all the law-abiding citizens.
We can't say it enough.
Yep.
But for whatever reason. So today, we're going to focus on Washington for the most part, and then something else that Connecticut, surprise there, has come up with. They're already have restrictions on assault weapons and stuff like that. So not a big deal. But in Washington, House Bill 1240, it passed the House. It's now going to the Senate. And then if it does pass the Senate, it goes to the governor's desk, who will immediately sign it because he is backing this bill. So if it passes the Senate, you guys are pretty much screwed in Washington. And what I want to talk about is one company that I do a lot of business with, Aero Precision, is up there. They started in Tacoma, Washington, and they grew so big. And after like the 2020 COVID lockdown thing, they were not able to keep up with demand. So they moved to another city in Washington State. I forget what city it is, but they expanded their business, built all these new, plants and everything. So they've grown and expanded their business in Washington State. Well, if this bill goes through, it's going to affect probably 75% of the stuff that they do business with. Luckily, they have gotten into bolt guns,
Yeah.
but I don't know how big that business is right now. They're relatively new. They do suppressors. I don't know what this bill would do. We'll get into that.
Yeah, that's kind of scary. I feel sad.
And that's just one. And I'm sure there's a lot of smaller
Yeah.
companies that
Yeah.
also work out of Washington.
Yeah, it's
So obviously it's going to ban AK-74s, 47s, the AR-15 variants, along with like M1s, M1As. There's anything that you would consider an assault weapon, which is nothing because that's a made-up term, but we all know what they consider. So any of those scary rifles fall under that category. But not only that, it further states that any semi-automatic firearm, and here's the key point here, firearm. So it's not just the rifle, pistol, it's a firearm with a detachable magazine that wears specific accessories. So it's also taken into consideration what type of accessories this firearm has, like a telescoping stock, threaded barrel, muzzle brake, or pistol grip. No. Those are all no-nos. Any semi-automatic rifles under 30 inches in length would also be barred from sale. So we're getting into the, what you have as a pistol brace.
Yeah.
Pistol right now, those would be banned. Even if the stabilizing brace fails, Washington State would ban those. Bans pistols using a detachable magazine, which is every semi-automatic pistol, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And sporting one of the following accessories. So it has to have a detachable magazine and sporting one of the following: threaded barrel, second hand grip, or a shroud. So I guess you can't have suppressors in the state of Washington after this. Semi-auto shotguns with folding, telescoping, or thumbable stocks. So like your M4 style shotguns, that you see a lot. That's a no-no. Or if they have grips that protrude conspicuously, in quotes, beneath action, fixed magazine with more than 7 rounds, a revolving cylinder, or pistol grip are prohibited. So your home defense setup, semi-automatic shotgun, your Benelli M4s, things like that, no-nos. And then any magazine holding more than 10 rounds. So that gun we just brought on, no. That's every gun over the size of, say, like a Glock 26.
Well,
because that holds 10 rounds. But
you can buy a magazine that holds more. So
I don't know if this has that specific language.
Because I know the other bill that we talked about, the 1808.
Yeah, that could potentially hold a magazine over 10 rounds.
It says that little thing has the potential to.
I don't know
they
if,
wanted to ban, but that one.
I don't know if this one has that. I just saw a bullet point that said magazines holding over 10 rounds. It didn't say anything that is capable of taking a mag, which I'm sure they would probably try and put that in there.
Yeah.
So I don't know how we came up with anything over 10 rounds is high capacity.
I don't either.
So bans the sale, manufacture, and import of these weapons in the state. So this is where I'm wondering what would happen to Aero Precision if this were to pass.
Probably have to move.
They can't sell. They can't manufacture. They don't have to worry about import. So manufacture. So
that means they
is
can't
a
make
stripped AR-15 lower? Would that fall under any of these categories, you think?
I bet it does. Because you got to register it as a firearm.
Well, I guess
or other.
It bans AR-15. So
yeah.
But in the form that it's in, it is an other firearm because it's not a rifle at that point. It's not a pistol. It's an other firearm.
But it's considered as a weapon, though.
Yeah, great area. We would need some further
investigation.
Yes. Yeah, and then it does not explicitly ban the possession of these guns. So that's more like you can't buy them going forward.
Yeah.
So that looks like there may be a grandfather clause in there that if you have them now, I don't know what's going to happen if you have them now. You just can't buy these after this passes, which on top of that, so Stag Arms, if you don't know, is an AR-15 company. They were actually my first AR-15 rifle that I had with the Stag Arms Model 3, which I don't even make anymore. They were a company started out in Connecticut. After all the political BS in Connecticut, they recently, a couple years ago, moved to Wyoming, very gun-friendly state. So Stag Arms is taking action by sending team members to Washington State to support the law-abiding gun owners and getting this taken care of, because if this goes into effect, there's going to be a 10-day waiting period. So they're setting up what they call a forward operation based to deliver extra support to local gun store owners and dealers across that state. They're helping them process a bunch of orders, expediting shipping, while all this is
Taking
in motion.
place.
Yes. So that's kind of cool.
It's good to see other manufacturers and gun people helping these states out, realizing that this is bullshit and that they need help, and let's help them and the law-abiding citizens the best we can.
Yeah. So whether you buy from Arrow or whoever, they're helping dealers. You know, I think if you buy from Arrow or Stag Arms directly online, they're going to expedite your order over everybody else just so you can own this. Because, like we said, it sounds like what you have, you can keep. You just can't buy anything new. And then they moved a bill last week that would require a 10-day waiting period when purchasing any firearm that would be outside of this bill, which isn't much. But if you decide to purchase a single shot gun or a revolver, there'd be a 10-day waiting period.
That's stupid.
The legislator finds that assault weapons are not commonly used in self-defense. So we're always like, we use these guns for self-defense, but their legislator states that these are not commonly used in self-defense, and that any proliferation is not the result of an assault weapon being well suited for self-defense, hunting, or sporting purposes. So basically, they're saying
competition isn't considered sporting purposes, or using your AR-10 to go deer hunting
or hog hunting.
Yeah, or coyote hunting. That just goes to show these fucking idiots don't know what the hell they're talking about and don't do the research.
What legislator found that? Like, what kind of research did they do?
Because I'm pretty sure most Americans, their home defense gun is an AR.
Yep. But
simple as that.
And here's the thing, that none of these lawmakers, even outside of the state, federal, whatever, not one person that had to use their firearm in a self-defense situation was like, man, I'm glad I only had 10 rounds.
Yeah. God forbid if you get swarmed by multiple people.
What they don't understand is, especially if you have multiple people going on, you are in such a mindset that's like, oh my God, what's going on? Like, you are probably going to need 10 plus rounds. And Joe Biden made a tweet and a video recently, saying nobody in their right mind needs to own a 100-round magazine. So he's all for the 10-rounders, but he's saying that what's Joe Biden or somebody was saying that if you need more than 10 rounds in self-defense situation, you should not be using a firearm in self-defense.
What are you supposed to do?
Right. They don't get that there's all these factors that come into play.
Gangs don't care. They're going to swarm you.
Yes. And pistols are super hard to shoot accurate, let alone in a high-stress situation.
Yeah. I'd rather have an AR ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a reason why a lot of our military use M16s and rifles. And
pistol is a backup.
Yeah, that's like, oh shit, hits the fan, I'm out. This is all I got left.
Mm-hmm. And because a pistol is super hard to shoot accurately.
Yep.
You have, even if you have the best control, best stance, or whatever, just trying to shoot that in a normal situation, say in an indoor range, is difficult, let alone movement. Your target's moving, you're moving, the stressful situation that's going on, adrenaline rushing. Like, there's a lot of stuff. And
survival of the fittest at that point.
It's going to be hard.
You can.
Even if you have somebody running at you.
Yeah.
Like, say somebody running at you with a gun or whatever, and then you have to pull and shoot at them. They're moving.
Yep.
You have all this stuff going through your head. Are you going to hit them in, like, do a kill shot in one shot? Probably not. It's going to take you more than a couple rounds probably to at least stop them.
Yeah.
Let alone if you have other assailants coming at you. So for whatever reason, all these lawmakers think that you need 10 rounds or less and that you shouldn't be able to use or don't need to use assault weapons for self-defense. It's funny because tyrannical government is in the Second Amendment. And it's like they're almost trying to, they say that doesn't apply to today. Well, it does.
Very much so. If not, it's more important now to these days than other.
Because you guys have a lot more control than the government did back then.
Yep.
Who was overseas.
Mm-hmm. Our whole freaking freedom is based off of us having the right to bear arms.
So, and then rather increased sales are a result of the gun industry's efforts to sell more guns to a civilian market. The legislator also finds that the gun industry has specifically marketed these weapons as tactical, hyper-masculine, and military style in a manner that overly appeals to troubled young men intent on becoming the next massive shooter.
No.
First of all, I don't see any marketing.
Neither do I.
They can't market on TVs. They can't, unless you go to like a specific gun channel that's not on most TVs.
Well, even like I've watched a lot of the sports outdoor channels, and they are not sitting there like, "Oh, look at this! This thing's awesome. It's big. It's bad." No, they're not even telling you what the gun is. They might give you a brief. Oh, this is an AR-15. We're using it to hog hunt. This is the reason why we use this. It's more accurate and.
And you honestly do need a gun to be tactical because you don't want to take a 28-inch barrel shotgun in a self-defense close quarter combat situation. So yeah, you need a tactical gun in some form. Hyper-masculine. That's funny because there are probably just as many women that own AR-15s.
Oh yeah, easy.
You think they're buying it because it makes them feel hyper-masculine? No. They're easy to shoot. There's low recoil. You get a lot of control over it. It's pretty cheap to do. You can make it your own. So, yeah. So, yeah, and then the 10-day waiting period that we talked about.
And I'm pretty sure most people that buy it aren't wanting to become a mass shooter. If there was, we'd be having them multiple times a day. And I guarantee we probably wouldn't have a government at that point because everyone would be probably going after the government.
Yes. That terrible statement there. So on top of the 10-day waiting period, they also want prospective gun buyers to be forced to complete a firearm safety training course or have completed one within the last 5 years in order to buy a gun in a store. So not only do you have to do that required training course, every 5 years you have a 10-day waiting period.
So what is the procedures? What do they consider a fire safety training course?
I'm sure they got a list.
Me going to the range and shooting? Is it me sitting in a class telling you the do's and don'ts? Is it me going to a class where they're teaching me how to sweep a room?
I would say,
or shoot long distance. Like, what is it?
I would say it's probably similar to what your CCL course would be.
I mean, hunter safety. They go over firearm safety. Is that considered a training class?
I'm sure they would have a list of acceptable training courses. So who knows what that would be? But you should get training on firearms if you haven't, but being required?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, then I'm requiring every government official to go to school and become a doctorate in political science before they can run.
So and
it has to be from an accredited university on your dime, and no one else can pay for it.
Just funny how strikingly similar this is to 1808.
Oh, it's pretty much copy and paste.
And that's what a lot of these bills that are being introduced by these Democrats are a version of 1808.
The thing that cracks me up too is Democrats want this, but yet illegal immigrants, they don't give a fuck if they have a gun or not in our country when they shouldn't be. That's fucking ass backward. Why does our government want us to do all this, but I can come from Mexico, Canada, Germany, the Middle East, come over here and get a gun, and they don't care about all this? I'd be more leery about them coming in here and becoming a terrorist and doing this instead of an American citizen.
Well, how many of those do you know may or may not work for the cartel?
Yeah.
Sex trafficking,
That is our government is fucked up.
Yep. And Connecticut, the former state of Stag Arms Governor Ned Lamont, he has a proposal that again introduces a 10-day waiting period for firearm purchases, limiting the number of weapons that may be bought at one time. So yeah, so Connecticut already does have regulations on not only the magazine capacity and assault weapons. So they've already got some of that. So now they want to add a 10-day waiting period. They also currently on, not just that, but they already stipulate a gun purchaser endure a lengthy permit process. So it's not like, what we go through to buy one. You have to go through local police departments and submit fingerprints and undergo an extensive background check. So it's almost like you're buying a suppressor at that point.
Yeah. Or doing a CCL.
So not only do they want to make you do all that, they also want to add 10-day waiting period. Man, so many active shooters are going to follow those laws.
Yeah.
So many freaking gangbangers. Before we do that drive-by shooting, let's go get fingerprinted and wait 10 days.
Let's tell the sheriff's office that we're buying this too.
Yeah.
And this is the reason why I want to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that sheriff's office is going to let that guy with the teardrop tattoo come through and be like, okay, you're going to legally buy this. All right.
Yeah.
Wait 10 days. On day 11, go do what you got to do.
Do you, boo?
Yes. So also, of all the governor of Connecticut's proposals, one that received a lot of attention was microstamping. He wants to microstamp or laser imprint a unique code on every handgun's firing pin. And
wow.
Yeah, the goal is to transfer a mark onto the spent cartridges, creating a trail back to the gun from which it was fired.
That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yep.
Wow. So at that point, then why don't you have everyone stamp, oh, you bought this, stamp it. So I know that you bought this and this is your ammo. Wow. What the hell are we coming to? This is ridiculous.
This is what happens when you wait.
Wouldn't
I was that wrong?
Even the firing pin, if you did anything to it, wouldn't it hinder that gun and make it
I'm gonna take
more likely to break or have damage?
And like, if you ever seen a firing pin, like especially in a pistol, they're a lot smaller. Like, just the tip of that firing pin touches the primer, so I don't see how that works, because even in a spent casing, the primer's not there.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that would work. That just shows how stupid.
And then laser engraving, that wouldn't, or etching, that wouldn't leave any freaking print anyways.
I don't know. These guys are stupid. So
yeah,
I don't see that happening. Also in the wonderful Northeast, which sucks because I really love the Northeast, but you have all these stupid people. Also like Elizabeth Warren and Bob Menendez of New Jersey. They've called the Department of Justice and the Department of Treasury to act quickly in implementing financial tracking of all gun and ammunition purchases. Their call to action follows announcements from Visa, MasterCard, and Discover that they would not be tracking purchases of guns and ammo after the pressure from the Republican Party. So if you're aware or haven't been following this, back in September of 2022, so last year, Visa kind of gave in to some pressure to the gun control groups, agreeing to flag gun and ammo purchases, and also established a new merchant category code. So if you're familiar with that, if you have a business, you have some sort of merchant category code depending on what you're selling. Currently, there is no code for specific gun shops. We kind of fall under sporting goods.
Yeah.
And so because of that, sporting goods is such a
wide
thing. They want to make one specifically for gun dealers. But in early March of this year, Discover announced that it would begin tracking gun and ammunition purchases with a new MCC code in April. So next month. Discover started doing that for a couple days. They started tracking a couple days in July of last year, and then they stopped. So if you purchased a firearm within those or ammunition within those few days, it was tracked. I don't know if anything happened with that. Visa and MasterCard and Amex, they recently said we're going to postpone this because they are getting a lot of pushback from the gun rights groups, as they should, because this is a invasion of privacy at some point.
Yep.
But the thing the key words they have to find there is that they put a hold on it. Keywords, on hold. So that doesn't mean they're saying we're not going to do this.
Yeah.
It's just on hold for right now.
It's on hold until it comes convenient.
It's on hold until they figure out how to make every gun dealer register this code, probably. And but then you have Elizabeth Warren, who's relatively powerful, and Bob Mendez. So unfortunately, Massachusetts, I love Massachusetts, but because of her, I can never live there. Nobody wants to live in New Jersey anyway. That place is a shithole, honestly.
Oh shit.
Yep. So that's if you live there, sucks for you. Move to a gun-friendly state. Move to the South. Move to the Midwest.
People that don't know what they are to all these states.
Mm-hmm. But so that's a part of what we've been dealing with lately, and we'll probably continue to deal with more and more. And at some point, I'm sure they're going to try and ban all guns because they're now
That's their goal.
Because right now, 90% of guns are affected by these House bills that are being passed. At what point are they going to include revolvers? Because the dirty, hairy gun, that's a scary gun. But it's a revolver.
Yeah.
So we're all going to be sporting old lever action rifles.
Going back to the Westerns, but
That's pretty much what
we're not going to have any money because it's all going digital. So,
you know what I'm wondering? I don't see Gatling gun on here anywhere. Or what about a belt fed?
or boomstick. I don't see anything about a boomstick being on there.
I'm sure a belt fed would fall somewhere under that assault weapons thing, but a Gatling,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't see that on there because you have multiple barrels on a Gatling.
What we need to do
And
is
there's
come
really
up
no
with a way-
magazine.
We need to come up with a way with the revolver where you got your main mag and then inside that you can shoot. So then it can hold more than 10.
Yep. So that's a lot of bullet points I had to go over.
I'm sorry, Jefferson, that you had to listen to that bullshit. Yeah. I'm sure you're over in your grave and I'd be drinking with you, but
But I think we should all buy Gatling guns. How cool would that be?
it'd be fucking dope.
It'd be expensive,
Yeah.
but freaking cool would that be though? Gatling gun.
They don't say anything about tanks on there. Let's go buy a tank.
All right, I'm down. You know what's funny is a Barrett 50 cal is a bolt gun,
Yep.
holds less than 10 rounds. So I'll fucking buy Barrett's. We're gonna
Cause
get
the
into
most
these
fucking
long
damage.
range.
Yeah.
Those guns are fine.
Yep.
But God forbid you have an AR-15. It has a super
holds-
small bullet.
And it holds 30 rounds.
Oh, 100. It could take 100. First of all, I don't want a 100-round magazine because I don't want to load
fucking
100
heavy.
rounds. It's going to be super heavy and not very reliable.
Yeah.
Like, you have a lot more option for...
I'd rather just lay down in the dirt at that point. Just
Yep. I don't even like shooting 40-round mags. Like a 30-round mag is perfect. 40 you're starting to get into, especially if you're trying to do any type of bench resting or whatever. That's going to be sticking out too far. 30 is a good number.
Yep.
But again, where they're coming up with 10 or 8. I think Joe Biden said 8 once.
Yeah. Well, he also said there's 10 rounds and one bullet.
Yeah, he did. He did. I would love a bullet that holds 10 rounds. That'd be awesome.
Fuck. Save me some money.
Yep. Yep. So, same story, different day.
Same states.
Luckily, there's a lot more people than you would think that support the Second Amendment and or gun owners. Unfortunately, you don't know because we have to hold our tongues and can't talk about it because we may piss off somebody else who's anti-gun and will
Get red flagged.
Yes, we don't want that
Yep.
because those red flag laws aren't going anywhere, and there's nothing that we can pretty much do about that.
You know what we need to do is start finding all these Democrats' house address and red flagging them.
I want to know how many actually own guns.
Let's red flag them.
I'm sure some of them actually do.
I'm scared because of their mental capacity and how they vote.
Well, I'm scared of Joe Biden's mental capacity.
Yeah. So, red flag law. Let's go red flag Joe Biden. Let's just do the whole White House. Everyone in Senate. Let's do them.
You should do that and let me know how it goes.
I don't feel safe.
I don't know how you do that, but
I don't know how either. But
I don't feel safe with Joe Biden
I don't
as
feel
our
safe with
supreme leader. Okay, I'd like to enact my civilian red flag
yeah.
instead of a citizen's arrest.
Wouldn't that be fucked up if they actually went through with it?
That'd be awesome.
That'd be funny as fuck.
And then we raid his house and find out he's got a freaking stash of guns and stuff like that.
Guns, money, fucking a bunch of
that's
confidential reports that
that's
were in
not
his
mine.
locked up Corvette that have been moved to his attic.
Yep. Oh, that was my son's Hunter's.
Yeah. It's on his laptop too.
He bought it with $1 million inheritance that he got. Yeah. That's where we're at.
Yep.
So I'm sorry if you live in those states. If you do live in, especially Washington, you gotta fight it. Reach out to your lawmakers and tell them that you do not support this.
Yep.
So, reach out to all these gun, what you call them?
Support groups,
Yeah, like the
NRA.
there's a lot of iffiness with the NRA, but the gun owners of America, stuff like that. Support them if you can, because all these legal fees, fighting all these battles are super expensive. So, yeah. But luckily, we have those people to support us.
The thing is to contact them and say that you are against it.
Yep.
And let them know. Because really, you're the one giving them their job.
Yeah.
That's how you got to think about it. You're employing them to be in that position to make the decisions for you. If you don't agree and no one else does, that should be a red flag for them. Like, fuck, if I don't fix this, I won't get reelected. I can't move up and I'll be out of here. And then someone else will come in and do better, hopefully.
The problem with Washington and even Oregon are just the political views of people, like just not
The crazy
elected
thing is they're
officials.
the one that had the autonomous zone killing people, getting away with it. At that point, I would want my gun in that state because you don't know when they're going to do that to another city or another little town.
Yeah.
That's the scary part. That's the reason why we have our Second Amendment, is to prevent shit like this from happening. So, yeah.
So some good news. Change the subject a little bit. So if you guys have watched the last podcast and saw Hunter sitting in the corner over here.
Where is he? He's
to
supposed to be here
Chris's-
tonight.
I don't know. He's not home.
Go
I know he's not
figure.
home. But anyway, so it's not this wall. You can't see it here, but there's a wall that way that you saw Hunter sitting against that's painted black. And I've been trying to think of what I'm going to do with that wall because I want to do something cool with the new backdrop for the gun channel, this channel. Well, I talked to Tactical Walls today, so we're going to work something out and make it cool. Do some tactical wall stuff back there.
Nice.
Yes.
That means we're going to be changing this all around, huh?
Yes. I like this view for like Shotgun Studio and stuff, and maybe some other things, but for gun related stuff, once I get the tactical walls up and that stuff up, I think would make a really cool backdrop, especially for, the gun videos and maybe even this podcast would be really cool. So yeah,
Heck
unfortunately
yeah.
I got to
Move everything
move
around.
everything, but I got it to where a lot of things are mounted to the bottom of the desk that's on wheels and just scoot
Turn
it
it
over.
around.
Just move the lights that are on light stands, the camera.
Yeah.
Got to figure out some lighting with that and how that's going to turn out. But I think that'll be really cool because a lot of the big gun channels, you see them with the tactical walls in the background with the freaking stuff mounted. I'm like, yeah. So we're going to...
Did you tell him you got to have a little bit of whiskey on that wall too?
No, I forgot to mention that.
Fuck.
But he saw the podcast and everything, so we'll see.
Huh.
I sent him a picture of the wall dimensions, so he's going to build something that would look pretty cool. We're going to work something out as far as getting that here. And
that'll be pretty cool.
yes. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
And it looks relatively easy to install, but we'll see. Nothing ever is easy as intended, especially when it comes to house projects.
Yeah. Oh, it'll take a half a day, 3 weeks later.
Yes.
That's how it always goes.
Yep. So be looking up for that. If you randomly see us against a wall of guns,
give us the thumbs up for that.
Yes. Yes. And it's gonna be like, all right, if I get the, mounts and everything, it's like trying to organize it and pick what gun goes where and how to do it. That's gonna be, I'm indecisive, so that's gonna be my hard.
It's better to you than me.
Yep.
Because we're both indecisive.
So yeah, Jefferson's is good if you like a little bit of sweetness, not a lot of heat.
Yeah, it's really good. Good beginner.
Yep. Awesome. Well, again, if you guys are using your firearm in a self-defense situation, check out Right to Bear for self-protection insurance, because you never know. And you don't want to be caught without an attorney to represent you in that situation, even if it is justified. Legal fees add up. Even if you are justified, family member of the person that you had to use it against could sue you. And God, that gets expensive.
Yeah. Don't get your pants.
Yep. So check out Right to Bear. Look at that podcast. Perry Oath goes over their whole process and everything. Got a coupon code down in the description below to save off your monthly subscription fee. So check that out. Boomstick 10.
Yeah. Do it.
Do it.
Worked for Nike for years. Why not us?
Exactly. All right. I think we're going to wrap it up this week.
Remember, this is a YouTube podcast. Remember to like, subscribe, and tickle that bell. If you're following on any other platform such as Spotify or Apple, please hit that follow button. And if you have any comments or concerns you'd like to address, leave them down below and we'll try to address them. With that one, everyone, have a good one.